soon as I've got Sal sorted out.
I'm sure most people here are already subscribed. And if not, they should be.
Unlikely. They would never do something like this. Where's Sal's
Here.
stream?
Hey, I'm
Here's Sal's
only
channel.
3 subscribers off 500.
Jesus, Happy
Nice.
Christ.
Yeah, I just posted
Better
your,
don't subscribe now, otherwise I'm not prepared for a subscriber milestone.
I
There we
remember
go.
when I hit 10 subscribers and was absolutely amazed that I actually made it to 10. Because I was expecting like 4 or 5, and most of them would just be you guys.
Yeah.
Look, a very
Potato
easy,
says peekaboo. Hello,
handy
Potato.
to use direct links to our stream. Thank you very much for joining Spider-Man. We'll hopefully be returning to him at a later stage where he'll be still alive.
Yep,
Hopefully.
I might die, but I mean, that's the joy of doing the Streamvester.
Streamvester.
Is the all too real possibility of dying.
And hello to Ralph. Hello, Tammy
Right,
Patton
shutting down.
and Charlie. And good night, Spider-Man. Get some Zeds before you're due back
What do you
on.
mean,
Yeah.
good night? It's like 1 in the afternoon for the man.
Exactly, it's perfect. It's the best time for napping.
Indeed.
Right, do I have everything set up? I forgot to check. Okay, Spider-Man's gone offline. People are looking at London, 1872. I should probably read out that.
Oh, Bell Orso's still around.
Oh,
4 subs short. I just and when May brought it up, I was on 497.
Sal has gotten a new subscriber in the last 5 hours, so maybe that's why Belorso's figures are off.
And Giles Price is here. Hello, Giles, and hello, Spotted Cow. Good mood to you.
I just realized that Sal won't be able to hear anything in the game.
Oh.
Is that gonna be a
Could
problem?
always bring up the stream version.
And then you can hear yourself and me.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe you don't need to
I
listen
probably
to.
don't need the game sounds. I can see it, and I'll just tell you.
I knew that there
What's
was a
going on in
flaw in
chat?
my plan.
Yeah, because usually you stream from my computer.
I know.
Potato says he's almost done with the Beer Made Cell sticker.
The beer made Sal sticker. Oh yeah, I've moved back over to the... Could you open the stream on your end to see what it looks like at the moment?
Sure.
Because I want to make sure that I move back to the Christmas ones after Pixel Piracy is over. I mean, the Pixel Piracy sound looks nice. Oh yeah, there we go. But clearly...
Is it supposed to have that bit in front of the screen?
Yeah, that pops in every minute or so.
Oh.
Not too much.
Yeah.
I can't make it pop in a few times now, though.
Don't worry. We'll live with it. Oh, I see what Belorso's saying. He's got 2 YouTube. He's got... Right? The figures are off because he's got 2 accounts sub to me.
Right. I feel like I should start reading this.
Yep, right. Go for it, mate.
Well, for those of you uninitiated, this game is called 80 Days, and it depicts the 80 days around the world story in form of a game. I'm not entirely sure if it's the same thing, because apparently it's... Well, you'll see. London, 1872. I have entered into the service of a new gentleman. It would seem he is a gambling man. And we're getting some very exciting music that Sal unfortunately can't hear.
Alright, I'll catch up on chat while... that's the only problem. I can't tell if someone's talking, so I might talk over them. Giles Price is coming up to an hour into the flight between Baku to Istanbul. Potato says to keep the stream exciting, I and the other merry men and women will be joining. We'll be going Ball 2D Walls. Oh, and that's in Payday. Yeah. Ralph says, can I join?
I hope this wasn't too loud. This might have been too loud. I couldn't hear Sal. I hope chat could maybe have heard Sal. If not, let me know and I can make it even quieter. Now, I'm gonna click on London, and I'm afraid I don't think that this is a multiplayer game, so I doubt that you can...
About Payday.
Oh! never mind then. London, in which we'll begin. I'm making this quieter. I wish my headphones would have an
Yeah,
auto-regulator.
everyone's saying too loud, too loud. The music's a little loud. Lower it, please. Sound can't be heard over the sound.
Lovely. I have lowered it now, but unfortunately the game has decided now is a good moment to not have any sound. Now, Monsieur Philia Fogg returned home early from the Reform Club in a newfangled steam carriage besides. I helped him down, and the iron-lunged steam-driven horse clattered away. Is that normal? Did we have steam-driven horses back then, or is this where the game already
Steam-driven horse is the horseless carriage. It's the very early version of a car.
Did it actually have a horse that...
No. But that's what they called them, like...
Okay, so it's just a naming thing.
Yeah.
I don't have to actually imagine a horse... Okay, good.
But I don't know about in-game.
Then the monsieur says, Passepartout, said he, we're going around the world. Now, am I saying around the world, monsieur, or very good, monsieur? I'm a decent butler, so I'm saying very good, monsieur. I murmured dutifully, not believing a word of it. We shall circumnavigate the globe within 80 days. He was quite calm as he proposed this wild scheme. I did not exclaim that quite calmly, but all right. We leave for Paris on the 8:25 in an hour. But of course, sir, I answered, still extremely suspicious. He nodded. Good. Pack an altimeter and my evening jacket. There is not a moment to waste. You, Passepartout, now have funds, and your character is now dependable. I have discovered a new route from London to somewhere. I guess I'm packing my things now.
So is that your name, Passepartout?
I guess that's my name.
Passepartout.
The man ordered an evening jacket, which we clearly should be packing, and a pocket altimeter. Now I can take along a wax cylinder, which is apparently valuable in Vienna, Paris, and Copenhagen, or a slender volume listing all shipping routes within Europe.
That sounds useful.
Or a deck of 52 playing cards, which is of interest to humorous, stalwart, official, and soldier types. Well, we could sell the wax cylinder in Paris, which is where we're going. And again, shipping routes would be good, especially if we want to get around the world in 80 days. Well, this looks good. Our completed Englishman's wardrobe should help us negotiate times to upper-class journeys. Oh look, shipping routes.
Lots of them.
All this clearly helped. Let us depart. Paris, Amphitrite Express, embark. The Amphitrite Express to Paris is departing now. The guard's van has space for one suitcase, which will suffice. Travel, this looks like a bearable option. This is clearly a steam horse. So just a moment, we'll hopefully be with the train shortly. The mechanical horse raced past Piccadilly Circus and Pall Mall faster than a team of thoroughbreds. Even so, the whistle of the 8:25 was blowing as we pulled up to the Charing Cross station. We have no tickets, I exclaimed in horror. That does not signify, Monsieur Fogg remarked over his shoulder as he hurried toward the platform. We must not miss this train. All right, I rushed after him and we leapt aboard.
Wax cylinders were like record discs, Mia. And Bell also says, and of course, Sal is useless at reading out chat.
Leapt aboard just as another train whistle pierced the air. A guard raised his thick brows at us as we settled into a nearby compartment. He held out a hand and said, "Tickets, please." "Alas, monsieur, we were in a great hurry," I explained, giving him a beseeching look. "We did not have time to buy tickets." "You may purchase them from me," the guard was saying, "though it is more expensive, I'm afraid. £85, please." I handed over the £85. There's no reason to argue with train officials. I handed over the £85 and smiled a thin smile from one working man to another. The guard gave me our tickets and slid the compartment door shut behind him with a pneumatic hiss. Your funds have gone down somewhat. Look, it's a train. We're now on a train journey. It would be magical, but I forgot to put on the gif of me riding a magical train.
And Belle also was saying before, coot. Is that the new word for cool and gut? Gut.
Fantastic. London's smog gave way to rolling hills and the pastures of the Kentish countryside, still untouched by the hand of technological advancement. Monsieur Fogg read his paper while I repacked our bags, or I demanded to know the purpose of our journey. Well, now that we've got some time, let's ask him. You see, Passepartout, said he, I have made a wager that we can circumnavigate the globe in no more than 80 days. What a daring adventure, I declared, eyes wide. It will not be an adventure, my master replied primly. It will be a matter of assiduous planning and careful timing. He turned back to his paper, perhaps overtaxed by the grueling duration of our conversation. A guard rapped on our door. A few miles before Dover. We're about to submerge, he warned. Take some people a bit funny, so watch out. Was the tunnel already built back then?
No, I think it was 1992 or something.
Right, so clearly the invention of steamed horses led to underground water tunnels too. This is the London to Paris Amphitrite Express, he explained, as though to a peculiar dim-witted child. The submersible train, talk of all the London papers. Oh.
It's a mere train!
It is a mere train, I exclaimed. He made a face. Bloody journalists and their silly names, he muttered. Every inch of her has been examined and stamped with the artificer's seal. This is the world's only Bath escape locomotive. I could not help a shiver as the fins above the Amphitrite wheels extended with a hydraulic hiss. Night fell and we plunged past the end of the track into the freezing water of the English Channel. So we don't even have a tunnel, we're just ploughing through there.
I think you're in a submarine.
Well, this is hopefully an interesting twist on a train journey. The Amphitrite ploughed through the water overnight and splashed up onto wider gauge French tracks at Calais as dawn broke. Do you have a route in mind, sir, monsieur? I asked as the water of the channel dried from the compartment windows. I am as yet undecided, my master admitted. The new canal has sped up the shipping route from Suez to Bombay, though perhaps we could take the Trans-Siberian Railway across Russia.
Oh, let me just catch up with chat a bit.
Sure.
So Potato says, Sal, what kind of makeup should give you, light or heavy? Also, what colour? Don't know.
Light.
Light. Blue, maybe? Ralph says this is like a boring audiobook. Giles says, wasn't there that kids' TV Phileas Fogg around the world in 80 days? Yeah, which, like this game, is based on a classic novel. Bomb says, hello, what is this game? This is 80 Days. Mia is the butler of Phileas Fogg, who is trying to make it around the world in 80 days, and they're currently on a mere train. It's a submersible train.
Apple wants to say things to me, but I can't respond to him. As soon as he appears in chat, tell me so I can tell him, cool.
Sure.
So, surely we wouldn't want to go through Bombay or Siberia? Which don't we like less?
Which would you prefer? Siberia's cold, Bombay's hot.
Surely not Bombay then, is it? We shall certainly wilt in the scorching heat. Then we would do well to buy hats and linen trousers, he replied. There are other alternatives. We also travel overland and across the Black and Caspian seas. But which is fastest? I believe, said he, that this is what we shall put to the test. Parbleu, I scarcely knew what to think. We arrived at Paris, Gare du Nord, just after 1 o'clock.
Oh, everybody else was saying Siberia.
I like Siberia more than driving through Bombay.
I think you chose Bombay.
Yeah, I said Bombay is the bad thing. They're telling me that Siberia is the bad thing. Anyway, what was it? Automaton porters lifted our luggage and then our persons onto the platform with long, delicately filigreed iron arms. Paris, city of my heart. I was home, but not to stay. I've discovered new routes. The one from Suez to... looks like Bombay.
Yep, I think you're going via Bombay.
Oh no, there's another route. Moscow to...
Vladivostok.
That works better, probably. Now, how do I get from Paris to the other areas?
All of our possessions should be quite valuable here.
Are they? Can I sell this thing? Or do I need to keep it to maintain? Well, if we're going via, oh god, my time's running out. If we're going via the other thing, then clearly I'm traveling to Berlin, I guess. Valuable in Copenhagen, Warsaw, Budapest. Right. I guess nothing's valuable here. Now, then moving on. Explore a bit. I need to find out how to... Ah, new routes discovered. Ah, that makes everything easier. We had a few hours to spare. I asked Monsieur Fogg if I might enjoy my city before we had to leave. Indeed, and should you learn anything of note, be sure to relay it. I nodded and headed into town. The talk on the streets was the one thing only, an enormous, elegant oval stadium constructed upon the green fields of Champs-de-Mars.
Just 1 second there. Can
Yes.
you turn down the music?
I didn't think that was still too loud, but alright. And containing the technological marvels, art, amusement parks, and milling crowds of the World's Fair of 1872, my city still wore the scars of last year's siege. When I ventured inside, but I was certain Monsieur Fogg did not intend for me to visit fairs. No, let's venture inside. This might be an opportunity to get some technology. I mean, they've got horses now that run on steam. I ventured inside the grand illuminated pavilions of the exposition. I went towards the airship hangar. Past a booth with a husband and a wife pair selling panoramic hot air balloons rides to eager tourists. I inquired as to their hourly rate. But the hangar was crowded with airships and flying vehicles of all shapes and sizes, attended by sharp-eyed crews from all over the world, and my eye was immediately caught by the African-made rigid metal balloon, the gilded Egyptian Ifrit-class airship, the metal-clad four-propeller Savacar Atomic, the bulky gold gas-powered Ottoman Gag, and the twin-bladed Peruvian gyrocopter. Which one?
See you later, Ralph.
Cheerios.
We could wait for chat to decide.
I go with the Ottoman Gag,
Okay.
which had an excellent reputation for safety, if not speed. More and more were being converted to civilian use as the Ottoman military replaced the Gags with Persian-designed Bayonetta airships. The Ottomans are a great power. Or whether these ships fly, I asked the woman at the stand. Throughout our empire, came the reply, and elsewhere too. I believe the flight from Rome to Thessaloniki is by Gag. Perhaps one day soon, Monsieur Fogg and I would find ourselves flying in such a craft. I returned to the exposition center, my thoughts turning with clouds and engine rotors. Avenues sprawled in every direction between the inviting illuminated pavilions of the exposition. An artificer was replacing an arc light, which had burned out. She first disconnected the strange machine powering the lights. It had a spinning iron wheel which was wound around with a series of amateur coils. What is that device, artificer? I asked politely, with my eyes staring to the copper lily pin which proclaimed her profession. It's a bleeding nuisance is what it is. The artificer grumbled in a thick Yorkshire accent. I don't know how to do Yorkshire accents. These gram machines are finicky beasts.
Do your Scottish accent, it's close enough.
I don't know how Scottish works either.
No, I mean, your Scottish accent is close enough.
I don't know how that one works either. Gram machines? I inquired. Well, it's a... Oh, never mind. She waved my question away. It's a steam engine, alright? Only it doesn't make steam. Will that do? I had to explain this stuff to layman. The harshness of her tone was belied by a gentle touch. As she unscrewed the arc-light globe of enamel glass and replaced the 2 carbon rods within, she reconnected the supply and the 10 block-off candles connected in the series lit up once more. They were miraculous. The artificer snorted. They are hard work is what they are. Miracles indeed, but her mouth softened into a small proud smile. So she looked at her pocket watch, cursed and hurried off, dropping something as she went. I hurried after her to return it, and she thanked me. My medallion. I'll need that to get to my lunch from the canteen. Thank you.
Oh yes, you would bow in
bowed
return.
in return, and she giggled. Stop that, you'll make me blush. She wrapped the coin thoughtfully. I was given this for my work in Istanbul, you know. I made a very special automaton. I think it works as a driver now, on the route up from Izmir. I think that's right. An automaton who can drive? Of course, is that so strange? I could only shrug. Who knows what is normal in this modern world? I looked about me once more. Crowds of turrets jostled and heaved past, their eyes wide with wonder. I headed towards the red and purple tents of the Artificers Guild, or I took a stroll down the Avenue of Nations.
I think Avenue of Nations sounds like a more useful one.
Lined with buildings in the styles of the nations of the world and manned by foreign delegates in national dress, although the newly formed German Empire was a conspicuous absentee. A most eclectic sight. Eclectic. You know, we want to go through Germany, so that was weird. In the city it had so recently conquered, the Austro-Hungarian delegation was being harangued by an artificer. The Zulu Federation had built a replica village. The Austro-Hungarian delegation was being harangued by an artificer who looked to me like a farm boy from Provence. The artificer was pointing at one of the soldiers guarding the doorway and shouting in terrible German. Verboten. Oh, that's what he's shouting. I peered at the soldier. What is the matter here? What is the matter here? I asked the artificer, and he rounded on me. These Austro-Hungarians, he raged in peasant accented French. How dare they? What do they dare? The soldier by the stand moved suddenly with a mechanical judder, and I realized he was no man at all, but rather an automaton with an enamel-painted uniform and pewter face. The artificer cursed. These Austro-Hungarians have brought their automata soldiers to Paris, even though war machines are expressively forbidden by the guild. Who knows what danger they might represent? I turned away hurriedly. My feet were tiring, and the hour was growing late. I returned to the Monsieur Fogg, who was eating a meal of plain boiled beef à l'anglaise. Did you enjoy the exposition? My master inquired diffidently, as though I had been out visiting an aged great-aunt, having preferred a hearty meal in an English newspaper, and I nodded. Nothing else could possibly impress me now. We're unspeakably lucky to live in such an age of invention. Will we travel by airship, do you suppose? Airships sound expensive.
Well, I suppose.
It will certainly make it easier to win my wager, Monsieur Fogg replied, mildly. I dreamed that night of mechanical wonders and automatons with beautifully enameled faces, knowing little of the strange inventions and stranger peoples I would soon encounter in my journey around the world. I found all the wrong routes.
So, which way are you going to go, Mir?
I am not sure. Oh, the clock is running while I'm planning my bloody thing.
Other people said Siberia. Oh, you get prices.
I am quite sure this departure could be adjusted, negotiate. The English wardrobes should yield results. Most generous, no charge tomorrow.
Wow, that means that you've got to wait 10 days. You've got to wait a whole 24 hours.
Ah, well.
But it would be free.
So what do I do in the meantime? Also, how do I confirm my plan?
Well, you could look at some of the other routes. Or is that definitely the way you want to go?
Kinda do want to go that way.
Okay. You need to stay in a hotel overnight then?
Yeah. Okay, hold on. What if I go to Amsterdam and then see if I can get a train from there to Berlin? It sounds reasonable. Oh, apparently I can only have one piece of luggage there. And -5 health. I'd like to confirm that this is where I want to go.
Yeah, Vienna sounds like a good option.
We took a hotel for the night. We will be comfortable here, Monsieur Fogg remarked, but travelling overnight will often be more efficient, so you must board the longest journeys available. Perhaps, he replied, the short answer indicating I think that one-day journeys might often be more flexible in their timing, could allow for more connections. Still, the surrounds of the Hotel Ritz were most enjoyable.
I've stayed in the Hotel Ritz in Shanghai.
Ah.
Oh.
Boarding the Orient Express was altogether a calmer affair than our race through London had been. Mechanical porters loaded us in through the windows, then snapped them shut with a delicate click. The train was very beautiful and extremely fast. And could sweep us across the whole of Europe, or at least as far as the Deutsche Kaiserreich, where the track currently ceased. As a last long whistle blew and we began our journey east. Sure, we had to wait today, but apparently this is a very fast time. My master wished to be undisturbed, so as we left Paris, I barred our compartment door. I left him and went to explore the train. There was a delightful dining car and an observation deck formed by the replacement of an entire compartment with an open glass cube. I stopped there, watching the scenery flash past, and as I stood, a portly gentleman with a quivering luxuriant moustache struggled by carrying several trunks. I am no porter, so left him to his work. I offered him my aid, and he introduced himself after a shower of thanks. Henry de Blowitz, foreign correspondent of the Times. Are you working, monsieur? I asked, and to my delight, he assured me he was. I am, he patted his breast pocket. The stories that you hear, it seems everywhere is on the brink of one revolution or another. Everywhere there is progress, but who will count the cost? That sounds most ominous, I told him. Does it? He replied with a beaming smile. Well, I am a journalist. It is my duty to make omens. Good day to you. With that, he clapped me on the shoulder and headed off in the direction of the dining car. I followed him, actually. and found a few groups of people talking quietly. I sat with the Blowitz? Yeah, he's from the Times, no. Sitting with a young composer, joined a pair of young Parisian ladies.
I'm gonna guess that chap would suggest the young Parisian ladies.
Yeah, I see that, but the Paris ladies are from Paris.
Yeah, so they possibly can't help much.
Yeah. Let's try out the young composer. Young composer heading to Vienna for a concert by the great steam progression of chords. I had an interest in music, but not an understanding. And so most of his words were lost on me. More interesting, however, were his remarks upon the political situation here. Michael warned me not to play an instrument myself while within the city walls. It is apparently forbidden. Really? But why? He shook his head, then smiled a quick smile. Perhaps they're tired of foreign musicians showing up their own great composers. He left a short while later, following a pair of chattering Parisian ladies to the observation deck to watch the stars come out.
Oh, hello, Balls, who suggests that Mia should sing it. Like a sea shanty.
I returned to Monsieur Fogg, who, to my surprise, looked up from his paper at me. What did you learn? He inquired. Nothing, I'm afraid. He tutted. Really, Passepartout? You must do better than that. You're my valet. You must discover the lay of the land. Yes, monsieur.
Well, you could have told him about the dining car.
That's not really what he wants to know. We arrived at Vienna in the early hours of the morning. The customs officials insisted on searching our bags, of all things. Artificing tools. I queried the official. I asked the Blowitz. I refused this imposition into our affairs. Foreigners are forbidden from making automata within the borders of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, he repeated a bored expression. Strange state of affairs, but I was hardly an artificer. And so it mattered little. The sun rose in the sky as we left the station, illuminating the wide, tree-lined avenues of Vienna in pale, welcoming light.
Okay, so we're at Vienna. And Giles Price will be in Istanbul at 2018 GMT. It's about an hour. And Potato...
Oh, Jesus, cow slappy Christ, we just missed another New Year's Eve by 10 minutes.
Who's New Year's? I should be looking at that.
Oh, why didn't you tell me?
I've got the...
Oh, Jesus, cow slappy Christ, I'm standing here not doing anything. I'll guess I'm exploring. I'd nearly forgotten my experience at the Paris exposition, but Vienna streets reminded me full force. The Austro-Hungarian Empire's might is built upon its armies of mechanical men. They are a magnificent sight. Ranged in gleaming rows along the wide Parisian-style boulevards there in the mall, uniforms shine to a polish. As I watched, I was approached by a bookish fellow who hurried out from under the impressive eagle-arched portcullis of the Zeughaus, the Imperial Armory. You think them fantastical? He demanded, a curious turn to his voice. Glorious, actually. Beautifully
Pakistan
crafted.
And 8 more. Happy New Year.
They are more impressive than you could imagine. He stuck out his hand. Herr Dancer, apprentice engineer in the Imperial Kriegsorchester. We went to a cafe to talk. And once he started, he would not stop. Have you noticed none of the mechanical soldiers carry weapons? He asked. What did you make of that? They are strong, I suppose, I replied, disliking the turn of conversation. Inside each one is a Mozart Haydn device.
Can you turn down the music further? It's drowning out your voice.
Well, there's no music at the moment. But, yeah. What was that? Mozart Haydn device, perfectly tuned. A dancer replied. The song the soldiers sing is one of devastation. A battalion in harmony can punch through a steel wall. I lost my German accent again. He drew a gilded flute from his scabbard and laid it on the table, looking at it thoughtfully. The automatas understand music? I asked. No, he answered, uninterested in my line of thinking. They merely respond to musical pitch and tone. I cannot reproduce his entire explanation for it, rather stretched my German, but it seems the mechanical armies of Austria-Hungary are controlled by music. Will you be staying in the city tonight, he asks. I hope not. We must travel as fast as possible. He nodded. Very wise. Events are on the move here. If you stayed, you would see for yourself. Is it worth seeing? I persisted. You are traveling, he replied. The army is traveling into Belgrade. And what of you? Will you ever leave Vienna? I dream of it, he confessed. As a boy, I longed to join the Artificers Guild, but for someone born in this country, it is impossible. The Kaiser and the Guild are sworn enemies. The Guild, I reminded him, were politically neutral. I pitied his circumstances. To have his gifts twisted to a terrible purpose not of his making. Alas, I could only commiserate. He took his flute up once more and sadly put it away, and I gently took my leave. I strolled back along the avenues, watching the city pass by with new eyes. On its gilded and manicured beauty lurked something sharper and more bloodthirsty. Vienna was at once the city of music and the city of war. My character is now courageous, apparently.
And Potato is going to make a Mir sticker and asks chat what Mir's outfit should be.
Right, I don't know. That sells well in Berlin. Oh no! Yeah, but they would be traveling back.
I'm still taking my
Yeah, I think I'm done thinking, but I'm not entirely sure. To choose this journey, we will have to stay tonight. I should probably read that. Well, alright.
Is there anywhere else you can go?
Not really. $2,300 in Berlin. That is a lot of money.
So what you thinking at the moment? Are you trying to raise funds or move fast?
Not sure. I think I could get most of everything I'd need for the engineer set.
There's an engineer set?
Yeah, every time I'm hovering over that, it's saying part of the engineer set. The pressure gauge and the monkey wrench are part of the engineer set, similar to how the evening jacket, the wool shirt, and the wool trousers are part of the Englishman's wardrobe set. And apparently, since I'm having the full set for that, we've been getting free travels a lot recently. 2,900 in Natalia. Where's Natalia? was Antalya? I'm probably looking in the completely wrong direction. Oh, down there. That's not where I'm going. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Because I sold this stupid wedger thing. I no longer have access to the routes up here. I thought I could memorize this nonsense. Can I buy that back? We found a room in the newly opened Hotel Imperial in a suit built for Duke Philip of Württemberg's maidservant. The view along the Ringstrasse was impressive. With Monsieur Fox settled, I hurried out to catch the steam orchestra performance I had learned off on the train. With Monsieur... once there, I found my composer friend and joined him for the performance, after which he detailed many aspects of the piece which had entirely escaped my notice. Once finished, I made for the bar, hoping to find someone else to talk to. After an hour or so, a group of men in fine dress came in and began making an unconscionable noise at the bar. I listened in on their banter. I could hardly help it and learned a most interesting thing. It seemed these men were local councillors who had been supervising a large movement of troops towards the train station distant for Belgrade, and then Istanbul. I tried to overhear more detail, but could catch little. Conversation quickly turned to mistress and musicianship, and so I slipped away.
That's a fair old route.
That is a fair old route.
Time's ticking.
I know, I tried to wait for the market to open. I cannot buy back my stupid...
Well, it was only Europe anyway, wasn't it? So you could go to Istanbul.
We're now on the VNS military transport. We approach the train station with our bags as boldly as possible, to brazen out our presence by means of what my master referred to as his universal passport, by which he did not mean my good self. It was a mad plan, of course, but we are stopped at the very first bearing by a guard wielding a gilded flute just like a dancer's. This platform is closed, the officer reported. You are lost. We are here on instructions from the Kaiser. Are we that daring?
I don't know. Are you that daring?
Right. We're here on instructions from the Kaiser. I lied stridently. You are to let us aboard on the train. The soldier looked surprised. There are no passengers aboard the train, nothing but freight. We know all about your freight. You're mistaken. There are to be 2 passengers. Then we are in error.
Well, if you're going with it, you might as well go with it. There are to be
You're
2
mistaken. There are to be 2 passengers. The soldier hesitated. Traveling with the soldiers, it is not safe. We will take our chances, I insisted. The soldier shook his head. I cannot take the risk that you gentlemen are spies, he said. He was, I think, a good man underneath that terrible uniform, so please, people are watching. And in a louder voice he declared, what are you doing here? We are meant to board that train, or how fares your secret mission for the Ottoman Sultan? Ooh. How fares your secret mission for the Ottoman Sultan? I asked vindicatively. Do you have any information to pass on to the sublime Porte? The man panned as a group of mechanical soldiers on the platform froze and turned towards him. They began to approach their enamel expressions, still and merciless. We ran away. We stood our ground! Until the last moment when one dropped open its jaw and began to scream. Oh, that scream like nothing else I've ever heard before or since. I covered my ears, I guess, and all but dragged Monsieur Fogg from the scene. Outside the station, we were both breathless. Another way, I think, Monsieur Fogg started after he recovered his breath. Yes, I think that will be more fitting.
Oh.
Are we returning now, or?
Yes.
Darn it! We watched more and more troops piling onto the trains to Belgrade, but there was no use in it. We would have to find another way forward. Oh, that route is entirely gone now. I wasted so much time, and apparently a lot of my master's health. We spent another night at the Hotel Imperial, but this time we were subdued and kept ourselves out of trouble. I do hope, my master remarked as I fluffed his pillow, that we will leave Vienna eventually. I could only agree. I had not taken a liking to this city. I could go to Budapest in a private car. But this is a magical train journey. It was not the Orient Express that took us northeast from Vienna towards Warsaw. That train traveled to exotic locations. We were destined to the gloomy cold of the north, into the paws of the bear of Russia. Aboard the train we stayed ourselves, or I fell into conversation with a Russian gentleman, who, as he told me at great length, was making the long journey back to Vladivostok via Moscow on the Trans-Siberian Express. I asked him about the Trans-Siberian Express, or about Moscow. Do I already know about the Trans-Siberian? Yeah, I do.
Do you?
I know that the Moscow thing goes all the way over to here. So I asked him about Moscow. And he shrugged. A nice enough city to pass through, he said, but not one to stay in. To visit a friend the Tsar and his loyalists there. The train jutted. I asked him about the Trans-Siberian, I guess, and his ruddy face lit up. There is a train, he entrusted, warming to the subject. It is capable of lifting off and levitating at higher speeds. The Tsar keeps it slow on purpose because he does not quite trust it. He bid farewell and I returned to my compartment. Oh, that's interesting. Apparently the train can fly there.
It's a levitating train.
I begin a conversation with Monsieur Gradsotkin. Good evening, man of France. Begin conversation about Warsaw. I'm sure you know all about Warsaw. I told Minsk can be reached from Warsaw aboard the Belarus Express. Warsaw to Moscow. No, hold on. Where's Minsk?
In Russia, sort of area.
Speaking of trains, I understand my friend had a friend who helped to build aboard the Greek coastal train from Athens to Thessaloniki. Thessaloniki. The rumor is Bucharest can be reached from Thessaloniki in the Pythian, but the journey is a tiring one. Bucharest? The rumor is the quickest way to Bucharest from here is through Belgrade. Goodbye then.
Yeah, we can't get to Belgrade.
we now have the route between Warsaw and Minsk and Moscow. The train itself was comfortable enough and fast. We arrived in Warsaw before nightfall. A fur coat. An accordion. Valuable in Athens and Zilki and Minsk. Isn't our next stop Minsk?
Yeah.
It sure is. I hope the market didn't just...
Close. Yes, if you stop off at Minsk, does that mean that you will miss the connection and go on to the next city, Moscow?
I don't know. We walked the streets of Warsaw, feeling the air of a different continent all around. In less than 2 generations, the Tsars had made this little outpost all their own. They've made it much nicer too, I suppose. They're building works on every road, with great digging machines sitting idle during the day and coming to life in the evening as they carve out sewage and water systems that will allow the city to grow enormous in size. A touch of empire can do wonders, I remarked to Monsieur Fogg, but his eyebrows scolded me. No good will come of this, he replied. Only malign growths and rust expand at such a rate. He shook his head sadly. When will people realize that only the English are fit to run an empire? I did not argue. What would have been the use? A gentleman lives in a gentler world. Your relationship with Fogg has strengthened slightly. Okay, now I need to wait for the market to open. Don't tell me the Minsk accordion thing is gone now. Lovely, depart. Right.
Good job you did get that fur coat.
I know. We clambered aboard the train. Monsieur Fogg settled in a car, far corner, like a dusty old uncle, and I went to sit in... Do I sit next to him, or... No, that's not really... I pressed my nose against the glass, watching the bleak countryside roll past. Trains are such a marvellous contraptions. I could have been an engine driver myself, I think, if I weren't so dreadfully clumsy, if it wasn't such a dreadfully dirty job. A life of coal scuttles and engine grease, mon dieu. Do we Fog the man? Thank you, my good man. I feel better. I've combed him, and now he feels alright after he'd been screamed at by a robot. We arrived at Minsk after nightfall and disembarked. The accordion could earn us well here, but unfortunately we need to wait till 7. A very cold newspaperman offered me a sip of Turkish coffee at a tram stop in Minsk. My grandfather was French, he said blandly. Then we're compatriots. I toasted him with my ceramic tumbler. I do not think so, he spat on the ground vehemently. I did not know him. He was one of Napoleon's soldiers. Minsk was occupied by the Grand Army during the invasion. He did not speak in a particularly accusative tone, but any words I tried to say in reply coagulated at the back of my throat. I managed to choke out. I'm sorry. Sorry? He turned to me and smiled with half his mouth. What are you sorry for? You did nothing. He gestured with his cap. You're traveling? We head from here to Moscow, I think. We will cross Russia to Japan. He gave me a downturned smile. Vladivostok is closed, he said. You'll have more luck going through China unless you're a military. Thanks for the advice, I replied coolly. He narrowed his eyes at me. Our tram wheezed into the stop and the conductor opened the doors. The newspaperman boarded and Joe Goffrey added, without looking in my direction. I decided to wait for the next tram, but my dreams that night were haunted by cavalry and cannon and soldiers with smiles like sabers. Departs for Moscow in 2 days at 10 p.m.
Did you sell your stuff in Minsk?
Yeah. Oh, hold on, did I?
No.
Oh, I did not. Railway cap. Part of the railway man set. Shortbread biscuit. Of interest to luxurious portion prim types. A shaving kit. Or a safety harness. Is there anything you want to have? Where's Uzurishki, Izmir and Askatran?
Oh, hello, Solo Spirit.
Hello!
Thanks for the kind words, Drills.
Yorkust.
I think we're going to have to wait for the 2 days, because...
Yeah, there's nothing else I can do.
Yeah, try that and go backwards and...
Do I pick up anything else, like a safety harness or a railway cap?
The railway cap kind of sounds like you.
Sounds like me, I don't know. Relatively, I could bring the shortbread biscuits and, you know.
Well, you've got space in your thing.
I do. Well, time to explore, I guess. I've discovered new routes to Odessa and St. Petersburg. It took a few hours to explore, investigating the various options for how we might continue our journey. Relations with Falk have strengthened slightly. I'm sure I could find something from St. Petersburg if it... 2 days at 6 p.m, just like the other one.
Well, if you were to go, instead of stopping at Moscow, if you were to take that train all the way round and stop before Vladivostok, like take the Trans-Siberian Express
From where here now?
from Moscow. If you were to wait the 2 days to Moscow and then go one stop short of Vladivostok.
I can't. I assume the Trans-Siberian Express departs from Moscow. And I need to get to Moscow first before I can do anything about that. The only alternative I have would be to go to Odessa, which would depart tomorrow at 12 noon. I think the wisest thing is to wait for the Belarus Express to Moscow.
Oh.
We can grease the wheels. We could get a tonight thing for £750. Are we that much in a hurry? It's already day 10. Quick.
I don't know, man.
Well, embark then. Departing in 40 minutes. Jesus, okay, Christ, I'm going. The train pulled out from Minsk station after nightfall. Monsieur Fogg had taken to tapping his watch every time we began a new journey, as though he was recording the time of departure through some fantastical spring-operated signal. Perhaps he was sending a message. Whomever it was back in London persuaded him on this curious journey of ours.
Mia, can you turn down the volume again? Because it's, like Spotted Cow says, getting a headache just from the background noises. Background voices are high too, not just the music.
Voices? Well, I can barely hear the game now. Hold on. Let me adjust through OBS. Is that better to those of you listening? I hope so. There was little time to do anything before total darkness enveloped the train. Do we convert? Never mind. We could read some news, I guess. Austro-Hungary accused of World's Fair saber rattling. Kind of knew that already. Morning came and we were still crossing the Russian countryside, the train moving on its slow and steady way. I spent the time eavesdropping, trying to find options for our next leg, discovering from a charming Muscovite artist that the governor at Omsk is a likable fellow who enjoys traveller's tales. Finally he pulled into the stone edifice that was Moscow station and disembarked. Right, planning journey. Ooh. Oh, Jesus, Cowsleppy Christ.
Yeah, Vladivostok. Oh, too much.
I could get to Irkutsk, where I could... Hold on a second. Luggage, where do you sell? Arkestarakan, Kabul, Usuryusuk.
Because if you pause on your journey, you'll probably miss the connection.
Where's Astrakhan?
Was it Omsk where the guy who likes to hear traveller's tales is?
I suppose.
I think Sal missed my message. I probably did. But I can't scroll up, I'm afraid.
Moscow was not a comfortable city for a Frenchman. A local composer just written a piece people were calling the 1812 Overture, commemorating the Russian victory over Napoleon's invading Grande Armée in that last fateful year. Patriotic passions were at a fever pitch, but I did not let that stop me. But I did not let that stop me. Exploring the city, there is resolve to affect an English accent. remain mute and unobjectionable should I encounter anyone. I traversed the city on foot, keeping out of sight of the patrols of uniformed policemen and Cossack troops mounted on black mechanical steeds. I ventured away from the wired boulevards and the eclectic architecture of Churchka Street towards the outdoor markets of Starayayap Square. They were full of apple-cheeked young boys and wrapped-up peasant women. I found myself drawn to one particular style, selling Xelg ceramics. Yeah, sure. Painted distinctive blue and white. I purchased a plate for a guinea and made sure there was a well-wrap before tucking it away. As the bells of the nearby church chimed the hour, I returned to our hotel, content with my brief view of Tsar's capital city. Right.
And in answer to Potato, yeah, don't see why not.
Where's Murph? Murph is down there.
Market is open if you're quick and you want to sell something.
The bell in the stuccoed and whitewashed Moscow train gave its third and final clang, and the platform erupted into a frenzy. We boarded calmly, and found ourselves in a small cabin with heated water and even a shaving mirror. Greetings, Monsieur d'Augustine. Let us share a glass of wine together. Sure, let's talk about Omsk. Here's something you can get to Kabul from Omsk aboard the Mail airship. What can you tell me about Kabul? I hear that some buyers will pay well for geometric equipment from Kabul. Is there a route from Kabul to Herat? You'd have to ask my secretary, but some buyers will pay well for geometric equipment from Herat. Do you use the shortbread biscuit on the man? No, thank you.
And Space Engineers is all viewers welcome. So yes, if Spotted Cow, if you'd like to join us on Space Engineers later, you'd be welcome to.
Right. We were away. I remember the advice from the man on the train to Warsaw. That the Trans-Siberian was capable of high speeds, there was admitted, and determined to find my way to the engine car to talk to the driver. I suggested a wager? What sort of wager? I don't believe this train is solidly built, or I don't believe the tracks are suitable for modern transport. Help me, quick.
The tracks, maybe?
I don't believe the tracks are suitably built for modern transport, I declared. I believe this train travels so slowly because of it. Slowly the driver choked. My good little Frenchman, I do not think you realize how fast we can go. Oh, then you must show me? No, I most certainly do not. The driver stared at me, then shook his head. I work as I am told to work, he said. I cannot risk the displeasure of the Tsar for you. My bed that night swayed along with the motion of the train. We had several more days of this journey through the middle of nowhere at all. I'm really bad at this, it seems. Our fellow passengers were a mix of convicts, political radicals, prosperous businessmen, and military officers. In the midst of this was a young lady Rosa, modishly dressed, wearing a bored expression. Modishly dressed in a rich military-style jacket and fur toque. I made her acquaintance. Only too easily. She was desperate for a sympathetic ear and told me her great secret. She'd fallen in love with a peasant boy in 4th class called Yak, by which I understood that they had shared a glance of extreme passion in the baggage car. What do I do about that? I brought the matter up with the driver when I went to see him once more. This young lady risks disgracing herself, I told him, appealing to his Christian soul. I've seen it before. Relationships aboard trains fester for a few days, then explode most violently. The driver narrowed his eyes. You're a sly dog, he declared. You're seducing this lady yourself and making it your threat over me. Perhaps, perhaps not, I replied. But it is a great risk, is it not? Aboard your train, you're its captain and responsible for its souls. The man shook his head in righteous despair. Damnation that I should ever have met you, Passepartout. You seal, we will fly. He pulled a chromed lever and the entire train shuddered as the electromagnets were engaged, and suddenly the familiar rumble of wheels on track fell silent. I do not want to poke my head out of the window at that speed. What was that? I cried in consternation. The driver gave me a look of triumph. The Trans-Siberian is a magnetic levitation train, he explained. Did you not know? We crossed the Volga in the early afternoon, the train levitating silently over the track. The landscape passed by impossibly fast. The devout Russian stood.
Mate, I am just gonna get myself ready for the next bit of the stream.
Sure-yo.
Take a break, go sort myself out with the drink and things. I'll leave you playing for the moment.
The devout Russians stood and crossed themselves while looking out over the water. I think they were singing, but I could hear nothing over the roaring wind of the train's progress. How did that hurt my master? Jesus. We crossed the Urals today, at the risk of sounding like a jaded traveller. I must admit that they are hardly magnificent. A heaving up of earth and forested hills for a few 100 miles. We stopped for an hour in Ekaterinburg, where I spotted a young lady, joined the lively cavalry officers. Persuaded Monsieur Fogg to jump off? No! Joined the lively cavalry officers as they ate smoked fish and played music to accompany the repast. One of them enjoined me to play his balalaika, a kind of triangular mandolin. Did I accept eagerly, or was I not musical? I accepted eagerly and strummed a few notes to familiarize myself with the unaccustomed instrument. Once happy with its function, I played a familiar favorite. Yip I Addy, a song about a musical fellow called Herman from Bellow who was possessed of a rather sizable cello. Our choruses of yips and eyes rather alarmed some of our fellow diners, and I was treated to some colourful local lyrical variations, which cast a new light on her von Bellow's prodigious talent. The officers were so pleased by my performance that they very generously made me a gift of that very same balalaika. I cannot wait to play it for Monsieur Fogg. The balalaika should fetch a good price in San Francisco should we decide to sell it. The train is travelling much faster than before. We arrived in Omsk today, one day earlier, and stepped off the train in the company of a full score of British, Dutch and German merchants, with military officers taking their place. I caught a brief glimpse of a mysterious couple who boarded what appeared to be a carriage especially emptied for their accommodation, but who they were I did not discover. It seems we can complete our Russian costume here for protection against the colds. With a Ushanka? Oh, just a Ushanka. Hammer. Where's Pyongyang? Is there anything I could sell in Omsk? China. Yeah, I'm aware I need to get to China somehow. There was only one hotel on a large square across from a fine-looking residence. We found a room and warmed up. We strode over to the residence and knocked on the door. We were, after all, quite the most important travellers to arrive in this important city in some time. After a while, a maid opened and peered at us through dewy eyes. We arrived from England, or we're travelling around the world? We arrived from England, I announced, expecting the Empire to be our passport. Nor was I disappointed. The maid dropped a courtesy and ushered us inside, welcoming us like the great explorers we were. Although on reflection I think she did not understand English, and was more impressed by our manner. We learned that the house belonged to the governor of the province in the Russian steppes, a man named Buchholz. We found him reading the works of Dostoevsky, which he rapidly hid as we entered. We entertained him with tales of our adventures, and he assured us we had reached the pinnacle of adventure here in Omsk. A major hub soon, he whispered, to become an independent state in its own right. We flattered his pride, informing him without a trace of irony that we had never seen such beautiful churches in all our travels through Europe. Indeed, he told us plans were afoot to bring Omsk to international importance with a Siberian exposition of agriculture and mechanical agricultural implements. We could have talked his way all night. I caught Monsieur Fawkes' head nodding in the corner of my eye. But to do so might have made me finally scream, so we made Buchholz farewell and good fortune. As we left, he asked where we were headed. East, I replied. He smiled, but of course, well, you may have trouble heading through Vladistovka. The city's closed to all but the military. I asked if he could help, and he smiled. Why not? Taking a pen and paper from his desk, he quickly filled out some military-looking papers for us. These should suffice, he said with a twinkle, and when you return to England, please remember Omsk. We thanked him and left him to his seditious reading and dreams of glory. Right. Ralph is asking if there's a boiler suit skin and space engineers for me. No, there is not. The airfield just outside Omsk gave us the opportunity to escape Siberia and head south to more options for onward travel in the busy and well-developed north of India. We flew almost directly southwards across mountainous wastes, pocketed with the occasional village and settlement. I saw horses running free. I think, or perhaps it was the tops of the trees blowing the winds. We are too high to really tell. I spent the day in conversation, hoping to gather information for our next leg, learning from a cheerful Bangladeshi errand boy that airships from Colombo make short work of the Bay of Bengal. The sun began to set through the windows of the ship. I'm rather glad to be leaving the north, Monsieur Fogg remarked. The trains are fast, but hardly well appointed. Remarkable to hear him express such an opinion. Why is the man dying constantly? The second day was shorter, and we were soon circling above Afghanistan, waiting for permission to drop our anchor and reel ourselves back down to Earth. The geometry equipment should be quite valuable here. Anyway, I do believe that it is now time for Sal to take over with Life is Feudal.
Oh, and we should say Happy New Year to Afghanistan, which we've missed, and Azerbaijan, and 8 more.
Hold on, we only missed that by, what, a minute?
Half an hour or something.
What? No, a minute! It's 1 minute after 8, you fool! So, Happy New Year to the people Sal just mentioned. Anyway, are you booting up Life is Feudal already?
Booting up Life is Feudal now.
Don't worry, she'll be with us shortly.
Which I have completely forgotten how to play.
But one was wondering if my master's getting older and weaker.
Oh, maybe.
Right.
Load save game. You want to switch over and just see what people think of the audio?
Right, I am on my way, though they can't really hear the audio yet.
Oh, there's music in the background. Am I paused? Am I paused?
I don't know. Are you paused?
I hope I'm paused. Yeah. No one's moving.
Right, we've moved over. I'm adjusting that. Let us know how the sound is. But one was wondering if there will be no RimWorld today.
No RimWorld, I'm afraid. I am doing although I'm recording, and I've done a lot of recording in advance so that we've got plenty to put out. Oh, and welcome to Istanbul, Giles Price. Where's your next stop? Terrible and quiet. Is that the... Oh, Istanbul is terrible and quiet. Or is the audio terrible and quiet?
Right, I have adjusted the game on Twitch.
Too high.
So we should be good to go.
Only hear Sal and her fan.
Are you sure you can...
Do you want to turn it up on OBS?
Alright, I'm turning it up again on OBS. It is significantly quieter.
Yeah.
Would you mind speaking again? I'm worried that you might not be coming through properly.
Am I coming through on the right microphone?
You are.
So, how's the audio now? Oh, yay, music! Alright, I'm just going to quick look around and remind myself what we were doing. I think everything was going alright. I think did we have enough food for everybody? We've got plenty of ore, plenty of firewood. I think we were making pies. Flour we're okay for. We've got hay for the animals. And clay.
Potato is very loudly exclaiming my name. Yes, I am all ears. I say jokingly because I'd like to be an elf. And Charles Price is wondering why the Christmas stickers are back. I just thought they'd be more appropriate than parrot stickers for the moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we were building the keep on the hill, and a raider's ship has been spotted on the horizon. So since I last played, there's been an update and raiders have now been introduced. Where? Can we see them? Seems that they're not close anyway. Not dreadfully close.
Bomb's disk usage in Steam just reached 100 megabytes per second. Should he hide in the cupboard? Those are normal numbers for us. And maybe, to answer Potato's question, let's return to Sal and see what interesting things she has to say now.
What? I'm just checking who I've got, what I've got. Because what I know about raiders is that we can see them off with hunters. I can't remember where my hunters are. But okay, we'll play and see what happens. Put it at 5 times speed. I think I'll slow it down just while I get to grips with the game again. Wouldn't mind knowing where these raiders are. Can't see a ship. I got a hunter up here? Gatherer. Let me in through the trees. I want to see what I've got. Can't see.
There's a German saying for that sort of thing. Du siehst den Wald vor lauter Bäumen nicht. You can't spot the forest due to all the trees in the way.
Yeah. Can't see the wood for the trees.
Oh, so there's a British version for that too. Potatoes requesting some scheduling. Hold on a second. The easiest option should be this. Though please do me a favor, don't change anything. And yes, I'm aware of Beer Made Sal. It is about to be changed over already. In the meantime, Sal, would you please remind for the uninitiated what has been going on in Life as Fuel so far, what the name of your town is, and what the goal at the moment is?
Oh, okay. So this is Whiterun. And we started off with just a handful of settlers, and we've grown the village over the years. I can't quite remember where everything was up to, but I'm a little worried about these raiders and the fact that I can't see them.
Are people sure the music isn't too loud? It's really loud to me. But Bomb really hates the singing guy in the music, otherwise it's really nice. But Bomb would like to know, also, if me as the official Niddvester Streamvester coordinator, no, not quite. Officially speaking, it would be middle management, i.e. Boris. Practically speaking, I am the one who fills the most with the spreadsheet and orders people around. Drills points out that the music is perfect and it's all good. Thank you for the reassurance. Now, where was I? Barmaid Sal.
How are we doing for houses? Can't remember how I tell. Oh, but I think I was supposed to... Was I supposed to get something planted? It's spring, yep. So I'm supposed to take these off pause, I think. Oh no, that's not. Oh, mind you, we've got so much food. I think that's why I had it all paused. Okay. We'll leave it without planting those fields and we'll see how we get on. Although, don't have anything planted here. Oh, I need to tell some farmers to go to work, that's why.
Oh, he wants the one that's scrolling. Alright, of course. I wasn't sure. Although I'm pretty sure I already gave you that one.
Let's take some people out of the mines.
Mind you, the one that's scrolling at the moment does not have the change in it for Spidey's Get Over It instead of the other game. But the rest should be still fine. Sorry for interrupting you, Sal.
That's okay. Put some people on farming.
But one points out that it's been ages since the last drunk stream, and I feel like he's trying to encourage you to have a gin and tonic now. As far as I'm aware, I did remember to stock that stuff, even though I highly oppose it. So, just say the word and you can be knocked out by a can.
I think... Oh, I don't like that fog. Wow, that's really bad. Can't see anything. Okay, something's not working. What's not working? Meat pies. We're making meat pies.
The bomb is assuming I'd throw the gin and tonic at Sal's head. Yes. That seems like the most efficient way to go about this.
Oh, fish farmer. I think that's new. Alright, I'll speed things up. I know I put a lot of things in to be built and I sort of laid out the town. Oh, I wonder if there's anything in the options to reduce the... Bloom is off. We want fog off, ideally. I wonder if we turn down the lighting quality, whether that will help. I'm not keen on it when games decide that the best thing for you is to prevent you from seeing what's going on.
Oh, sometimes it's beneficial for the game, like for example in Age of Empires, the Fog of War. But at least the Fog of War still lets you see what's going on the map, rather than just letting you, taking away your entire vision. But one wants to know, has a thick sea fog rolled in? Presumably.
Oh, raiders have landed. Okay, where?
Well, that's a new thing.
Where's that? I think we probably want to follow these guys. I think this is the lead raider. They're quite a distance. Are we coming near? The forest seems to be thinning out, so... Oh! Building's on fire.
Well, that just suddenly happened.
I think that's because they've just set it on fire. Right.
I'm afraid Potato has to leave us for a moment. So this would be a good moment to say goodbye.
Bye, Potato. See you in a bit.
Cheerios.
Do I need to... Why can't I move? There we go.
Oh, those are barbarians. I thought you were shooting weird-looking bears. In my defense, the picture looks a little smaller on my end.
Okay, are there any more?
You're a war machine.
And is anyone coming to put this fire out?
I guess you have to do everything around here, so might as well go put out the fire yourself.
Don't see any more barbarians, so I think we've sorted them. Okay, can I do anything about this?
Well, Orsa's currently enjoying some lovely New Year's Eve dinner. Let us know what it is, please. Just so we can get jealous.
Are there people heading out to go... Oh, I probably haven't got a well out there for them to put the fire out.
Also, it might not be relevant anymore at this point, but Drills is pointing out that you had thick fog. Spelled with 2C.
I think that's probably a lost cause.
Well, also points out that he already had his New Year's Eve dinner and that I'm not getting any of it. Don't worry, I wasn't, counting on getting any of it. I just wanted to have inspiration and then feel inadequate about my amount of New Year's Eve dinner.
Well, we dealt with the raiders easy enough. But nobody's working on the keep. And I think I'm going to have to get them to just put a new...
Tammy
So
Patton
some
thinks
forests.
she's going to have a pineapple pizza for dinner.
I quite fancy a pineapple pizza. Oh, we don't need that many stonemasons. Okay, people, come on, you can put that fire out. Because there's a well nearby.
Now, while I admit that I'm not the biggest fan of pineapple pizza myself, there's no need to be that rude about it, Drills. Why are they all wearing Christmas hats?
Because it's Christmas.
Oh, goodness. Also, Bellos is pointing out that in about 2.5 hours, he needs us to speak up a little, because that's when the bombs will drop around him.
Come on, people. Work a bit faster. Get that water. Are we done? We're done. Okay. And that stone quarry is empty. Right, let's go back and have a look. Is this still burning? I wonder if I can actually get to it, if I can grab somebody and go put out the fire. Yeah, you. Nala. Drop your resource. And let's go find the nearest well. Ah, up on the edge.
Jules is having noodles with sausage and vegetables.
Sounds good.
I'm not entirely sure that sausages would go well with noodles. That doesn't. Noodles don't seem like a sausage type of side dish.
That didn't.
Are you just gonna let that burn?
I just tried to take a bucket of water to go and extinguish it, but it didn't seem to do anything. I'll try again. Okay, we've got a bucket of water. Try running it over. Oh, I'm stuck on a tree. Yeah, I'm not being given the option to use it. Oh, there we go.
We seem to have started a debate in chat between the validity of putting pineapple on pizza versus the sensibility of having sausages with noodles. But, on a completely different note, Giles Price is currently flying to Dubai. It is unbelievable to me how much he gets around in just one day. At this point, I believe that this hut over there is just a lost cause.
It might be, but I'm surprised at how slowly it's burning. So I'm going to give it a go, because it doesn't take many buckets of water to put one of these out. And somebody has already taken 2 buckets of water to it.
And now you can extinguish it.
Yeah.
And but also points out that being a pilot will do that for you. Still, I'm a person who doesn't like to go out for long stretches of time or far away. I'm happy when I'm at home. I don't know why I was putting these weird dramatic pauses in there. Jules is pointing out that I'm 100% right with the sausage with noodles thing, unless I get the right ones. Which are the right sausages for noodles? I can't think of any proper sausage that would go well with a noodle. Well, noodles, not a single noodle.
Did that work? I think that worked.
Belos is pointing out that I did mention earlier on that I was driving a truck, which is a fair point. Kind of stands in contrast with my previous statement, although I have to admit that it was relatively easily earned money. And that's about all I can argue for it, though. I took the job more out of necessity rather than my actual desire to drive around the countryside. Though I did prefer that in contrast to working other jobs. Like, for example, I could have not stood an entire night in a mail distribution center and sorted mail away. I mean, in theory I could, but I would prefer the driving job any day over doing the mail distribution thing. Oh god, that must have been so hideous for the poor people in there. The air quality wasn't very nice in there every morning I came in to collect the stuff. On a side note, with a new Beer Mate Sal drawing potato prepared, it now looks like Sal is offering potato some beer and he's getting really sick. Through the thought of it alone.
Alright, what's that? Clay. Yep, we've got enough clay. We've got enough stone. We just wanted to build a keep before calling the series to an end. We went to quite a lot of effort to shape this mountaintop, or this hilltop.
Tammy Patton is pointing out that since she's eaten hot dogs with noodles, sausage with noodles sounds pretty good. Well, yeah, okay, fair point. I didn't consider this at first. When I'm thinking of a sausage, for some odd reason, I'm primarily thinking of a standard German bratwurst, which just doesn't go nice with noodles, I guess. A hot dog, on the other hand, is a sausage too, I suppose, which could be cut into noodles. Well, it's not really a food that I'd be seeking after, but I can see how some people might like it. I mean, it's a very popular dish for young children. They even recommend it on the sausage packages that they're selling. Sorry about that. Then on the other hand, Drills is pointing out that pineapple is too sweet and the texture and construction just does not go good with pizza. But why not like chicken?
I don't like chicken.
Oof.
So I played Life is Feudal Forest Village up until the most recent update, but I was really put off by I knew that the raid. I was building this town with all its watchtowers and keeps and everything because we were expecting Viking raiders. What I didn't expect was for any one villager to be able to take them out, and actually they weren't going to cause any more damage than just a lightning strike.
You had quite a few lightning strikes and tornadoes in your lifetime.
Yeah. So the raiders are a bit disappointed, and the visual effects just make it hard to see. So I kind of got put off the game a little bit, but I would like to get this keep built. That's kind of
the series
I wanted
goal.
to see. Yeah.
This is like Boris finding his badger in the forest. Was it a badger?
It was something like that, wasn't it?
Beaver. Boris's quest for beavers. Oh look, it does automatically convert links to pictures in the chat there. Like you can see it on screen. Might be a bit too small to read, but Sal was chuckling at that earlier on. She should have probably pointed that out. Also, apparently I've received another gram of salt, bringing me up to 358 grams of salt. And I'd need another 42 to reach 400 before the end of 2017. 12,017.
Alright, I'm taking my my firewood cutters, the lumberjacks, off because we've got such a lot of firewood, and what we actually need is logs. What I could do is build a marketplace, because that would allow us to trade one material for another, and I cleared this area for that. But we'll see how we go.
Well, every good castle needs to have a marketplace nearby.
Let's see if I can remember where it was. think it's that one.
It's quite a large house for a marketplace. I was expecting a few market stands.
Yeah, that's not what I was thinking it was, actually. Maybe I cleared this area for the donkey farm then.
Belos is pointing out that in the topic of origin, we should be glad that God made the Earth. Here's what Earth would have looked like if EA made the Earth.
If I flatten that for something bigger...
Why would I want to have a DLC for just the ocean?
Could build it. Well... Although, I think all the logs are now going into the keep, so we might be alright. Got nobody on the penny. Food reserves are low. Oh, that must mean that there's one of the barns is low on food.
Ooh,
That's a healer shop.
that was loud.
It was.
But also points out that, well, I might not like the ocean, but the likes of Jacques Cousteau might. Which is a fair point.
Yeah, this barn here is short on food. And we've not got many houses around, and there is another barn. That barn's got plenty of food. And that barn's got a good bit of food. So, hopefully...
Actually, please excuse me for a moment. I'm afraid I do need to take a short break.
So we've got 12,000 vegetables somewhere. In a barn somewhere. What's that? That's the school. Is Mia going to the toilet? I don't know. You know as much as I do. And now I can't see anything again. It's another school. So where are my other barns? Got 5,000 food there. Oh no, there we go. 6,000 food there. I suppose food's a little low in this barn. Oh, the building's on fire. Well, they should... Yeah, they'll sort that out because they're all close to it. was in here? Oh, that's a sawmill. Yeah. How are we getting on here? Yeah, I think we'll do alright. We'll get the wood in faster, I think, by continuing to build this rather than building a marketplace. What's that? Hey, the weavers. Food reserves are really not low. Oh! We've discovered the pack mule. We've got pack mules. We sent an expedition out saying, find us some new animals, and they found us a pack mule. But we've already got pack mules, haven't we? Oh no, that's a donkey. Okay, so how do we get... Yeah, they're donkeys. Oh, I didn't even know about pack mules. So they must have given us a new building or something. Unless I can... No, that would only give me... So where might pack mules come into things? The caravan stables is what we've already got. But anyway, well, before that was distracting me, I was thinking what we can do is to get some of the villagers just chopping down some of the woods around here. What's the radius of that? Oh, tornado. It's a ways away. See it on the mini map over here. There it is. See it through the rain. Well, I think we'll take some wood from over here. Oh God. Oh, straight through the village. Right through the trees I was going to chop down. Well, as long as it didn't damage any of my really expensive buildings, I think we're alright. Let's just make sure they harvest everything before winter. Tornado passed through doing relatively little damage. Yeah, a bit of... Oh no, that's how full it is. Oh, and the keep's been started. Very good. Is Mir back yet? No, he's probably gone for a power nap. He's been up since the early hours of the morning, getting everything ready and sorting out sort of last minute teething problems and things. Has he eaten? Not while I've been up. Oh, it might have been here where I intended to put the market. And there was probably the donkey farm. Oh, there's farms here that really should have been harvested. Right, builders. Huh? Yeah, let's give you some help. And farmers, nothing for you to be doing now. Oops. We could probably do with some more warm clothing. Are you guys working? Yes, you are. I think that's the only tailor I've got. Alright, well, we'll just let the people build the keep. Oh, and actually, Apple is going to be going live in 5 minutes. He's going to be doing karaoke live on stream. And so I think what we'll do, we'll let these people build the keep, and then I'll probably call this game to an end and host Apple instead. Have fun with the copyrights. Oh yeah, actually that's a thought. Might not actually be able to host him. I can hand over the streaming baton to him. Don't know whether hosters get them as well. I think it's alright on Twitch. I should let Apple know actually what we're doing. Tool reserves are low. where's my blacksmiths? I got my blacksmiths working. Yes. Can you host another stream on Twitch? We did have things set up, so oh, maybe we didn't manage to get that working then. We were using Restream to stream between channels, so that oh yeah, it wouldn't stream to my channel, it would stream to the Nidd Tuber's channel, the Nidd channel. So, but I'm not sure. It was something that Apple and Mia were working on. So, no, I don't think we can host Apple's YouTube stream on my YouTube page. But what we were looking to try and do was to use Restream to stream both to our own YouTube channel and to the Nidd's YouTube channel as well. But I'm guessing that didn't work out. Yeah, that would only be for if I was setting up, well, because what we were trying to do was stream to the central server and then get the central server to stream it onto the Nidd's channel. But yeah, thinking about it, I don't think Twitch has a problem with if I host someone who breaches copyright. I don't think that's a problem for my channel, because it doesn't sort of recognise it as being something like the views don't go to my channel, they go to Apple's. And bye, Bomb. Oh, this building on fire. Let's just make sure that... Oh, it's two in the town. Oh, they'll be fine. Oh, a cow died. Hang on. That shouldn't be happening. Yeah, you.
Huh?
Are you just stood around letting something eat the animals? see any wolves or anything. Oh yes, I can. There we go. Space engineers in an hour? Sounds about right. I can't look at the schedule at the moment, I'm afraid. Yeah, loud. That storm. Let's see, how are we getting on with the keep? Nearly there. Space engineers is today. Let me just have a look over at Mia's computer and see what I can see. Nope, Space Engineers is in an hour. Oh, another storm. Can I turn down the volume? Try that. And Potato's back. And Jim Hong's gone to rush off to get food. So yes, Space Engineers in an hour, I believe. Sal believes, therefore it must be so. Buildings are just so cool in this game though. I love the way it looks. I really enjoyed playing this game. Right up until the update where they messed around with the graphics and made it so hard to see so much of the time. Right, well, while I finish off the keep here, which they're very nearly done, I'll just get a link to Apple's channel so that you can go watch Apple playing, doing karaoke live with friends. It should be interesting. I'm sure he's very drunk. there we go. There's a link to Apple's channel. And the keep's built. So I think that's where we'll leave Forest Village. I did want to show you where I got to, and hang on, that's not how I paused the game. That's how I paused the game. Yeah, I wanted to show you where I got to and just let you see why it was that I'd stopped continuing playing, because I just stopped very suddenly, and it's because of the update. And if the game updates in the future and they sort out the graphics so that it's not quite so hard to see quite so much of the time, then I might return to it. But I think for the moment we shall make this the finale of the series. But do go over, that's what I'm going to go do now, is watch Apple doing karaoke, and come back in an hour's time when we'll be playing Space Engineers. So Space Engineers we've made the server public. You'll just need to know where to go. Mia will sort all of that out and tell you where to go. Anyone who wants to come play can play. We'll be in a public Discord channel as well, so that you can join us in voice chat if you want to. And yeah, everybody's welcome. So thanks for watching. And I can't do a dramatic end because I've got to pop over to Mia's computer to stop the stream. But do come over to Apple's channel, and then back here roughly on the hour for Space Engineers. So thanks for watching, everybody. See you in a bit.